Hello and welcome to Bears Talk Live, as we are joined alongside now the head football coach here at Lenoir-Rhyne in Mike Jacobs. Coach Jacobs, it's always great to have you on the show because that means football season is right around the corner. You begin play Saturday, September 2nd, 6 p.m. right here in Moret Stadium against St. Augustine. We talked about it a little bit off camera, but how excited are you that the season is upon us?
Yeah, I mean it's what we put all our hard work in for, and we have a pretty veteran-laden team coming back, at least with the starting group, and we're excited to see these guys build on a strong foundation that they've built the last two seasons.
You're going into your fourth year here in Lenoir-Rhyne. Crazy to think about that, but the season, it really begins with the development and the play in fall camp. Just how was fall camp for Lenoir-Rhyne this year?
Sure, we had a great fall camp. It's really like season 3.4, right? with one of those being the COVID year, but no, we're blessed to be back at it, and really impressed with the way our kids work during training camp. And I think you see some of the growth and maturity in some of our young men that again, there's guys like John Ross and Dwayne McGee and Keelan Parsons and Andre Jefferson. They've basically been playing Xavier Jennings since the day they walked on campus, and those guys have as many as 26 starts under their belt, and going into a season where we have high hopes and expectations for our program.
You mentioned some of the players on the defensive side for your team. Let's start off with one of them, Andre Jefferson, a returning All-American, and a big announcement last week as he is on the Senior Bowl watch list. He sort of resembles, the anchor to this defense. What is his role? What are you expecting from Andre Jefferson here in 2023?
Sure. Andre's always led by example, right? Like he practices really hard, he plays really hard, he's been highly productive, he's been super reliable and dependable for us in terms of his health. And so, what we're really looking for is, one, for him to continue his dominance, right? It all starts up front. You have to control the line of scrimmage in football. And so we're looking for him to control his dominance and be dominant there, but really looking for him to take on a little more of a vocal leadership role. And, when you're arguably the best player on the field, if you're also working the hardest and you're positively reinforcing the culture of the program, you can have a huge impact on the young players.
Another one of those strong voices on the defense is John Ross May. What a jump he had in 2022, and he is an exciting player to watch here in 2023. Saw the big jump last year. What are you looking out of your linebacker coming into this year?
Yeah, I think John Ross is one of the vocal leaders of not just our defense, but our team. Again, he's a guy that's got roughly 26 starts under his belt, so he's played a bunch of football, technically only his junior season for us because of COVID. And, he's a guy that gets us lined up, and, the combination really of himself, Devin Hibbett, and Percy King, really all three of those guys have been starting their entire time here and working together. So that unit at the second level of our defense may be the strongest that we have.
Flipping over to the quarterback position, Sean White came in as QB1 last year for your team. Comes in this offseason, he gets those first team reps. How confident are you for your signal caller come Saturday and into the season?
Yeah, I think, you're always reflective after the season. We go through these big self-scout studies, and you look at the things that you did well, and you even look further and deeper into the things that you didn't have success with. But, I think what we came away looking at it is, Sean was really pretty productive, and not only his first year as a starter, but he's in a unique situation where he really only had freshman eligibility. And so, you're talking about a guy, I think, that was second in the league in almost every statistical category. I think he may even have led a few of them. And so what he's done a better job of is commanding the huddle, making sure that he's leading and knows that he's the guy, and, really just carrying that unit.
This one of the younger cores you're going to have this season comes in on the special teams. You're going to have a new punter this season. It's a very young group with your kickers and your punters, and people always talk about games are won with special teams. How's that department looking like coming into the fall?
Now, we talk a lot about the hidden yardage in the special teams game, and we shored up the punt in some areas, and Ryan Carter had been a tremendous returner for a number of years for us. So finding his replacement, and then settling into who will be the starting kicker and punter going into a new season. And we're excited. There'll be younger guys and there's some new faces, but we're excited about their production in practice. And we've been able to stress them a little bit in some of our practice situations and scrimmage situations. So when we get out here between the bricks under the lights next week, they're ready to roll. But new voice in that room as we've had some coaching turnover there, and we split the coordinator responsibilities between Devin Figueroa, who handles our kickoff and kickoff return units, and Will Hornsby, who handles our punt and punt return. And I think those guys have done a nice job creating excitement with those groups and getting more young guys ready to play and be enthusiastic about flying down the field with their hair on fire on special teams.
You mentioned about that matchup coming against St. Augustine, second all-time meeting between these two schools. I know you're just excited to go out there and play. What's going to be the focus coming into Saturday's matchup?
Yeah, I mean, St. Augustine's a good football program. They had head coaching change in the offseason, as well as a number of staff changes. So, you don't quite know what you're going to see because there's not a lot of film to build up on. We've watched their personnel and that kind of stuff, but really, as it is almost every year, and it's kind of coach talk. But the emphasis is on LR. How are we operating? Are we nice and crisp and clean? Are we limiting our penalties both pre-snap and during plays? Are we playing with enthusiasm? Are we playing with excitement? Are we being violent and physical at the line of scrimmage? And those are the things that I'm going to be looking for from our program as we kick this season off.
You've had a couple of scrimmages. You had 828 day celebration. I mean, this community is ready to go for LR football. What is the message to the fans you have to say about what this season's going to bring here for Lenoir-Rhyne?
Yeah, I mean, we expect big things from a veteran-laden group. What makes this job so special is the amount of community support, right? Like 828, Hickory, and the Lenoir-Rhyne campus are really one and the same. And the number of things that we do as a community to support not just the football program, but athletics in general, is a big deal, and it makes it a special place to play for our players. It makes it a tough place to play for our opponents. So, what I'd like everybody to come out early, tailgate hard, and then cheer as loud as you can, beginning at 6 o'clock for the Bears.
We are looking forward to it. Lenoir-Rhyne versus St. Augustine. You can catch it on Flow Sports, and also with our new partnership with WHKY, come 6 p.m. kickoff. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
On
Thank you.
Bears Talk Live, of course. Hello and welcome to Bears Talk Live, presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are now joined alongside our head women's soccer coach and Dean Warren here. Dean, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Thanks. First question is, what's the excitement level like with your team coming into your season opener right here in Hickory, North Carolina against the Lee Flames?
I think we're ready. I think we're ready to start playing competitive games, and we've had some good scrimmage and exhibition games, but I think it's a different feel when it's a real regular season game. So I think we're ready to go and eager to start.
Incredible first year here with the program. You get SAC Coach of the Year honors. You also get the SAC regular season championship and make an NCAA tournament appearance. With having that first season as such a success, reflecting on that, how are you using those results to go into year two here at LR?
I think every year is a new season and it's a new team. So last year's success, while great, it doesn't really mean anything at this stage. I think it's what we do now and living in the present and putting things into action now. So while it's good and kind of an expectation for the program to be successful and win, that's a privilege as well. But we're not taking anything from last year that it's a given either, so we've got to earn it for sure.
Let's start in diving into one of your star players last year, Elin Hansen, first year here at Lenoir-Rhyne, 10 goals, 5 assists, a breakout year for her in her first season. What are you expecting to see from your forward moving into year two?
I think it's going to be a group effort, and even last year, while Ellen scored a bunch of goals and important goals for us, there was multiple people that stepped up, and while she was the one putting it in the back of the net, there was also many people making runs to open up space for her and creating those opportunities. So we're certainly not a one-player team. I think we can contribute from different areas, and everyone knows about Ellen now, and we've talked to her about that, of that's a good thing, and she's got to up her game to be able to continue to score goals. But we have a number of people who can contribute from a goal scoring perspective, and I expect it to be a group effort and team effort in that regard.
Let's talk about one of those groups, the midfielders. Incredible time returning there as well. Rhea Acton, Nev Dustin, Carola Busquets, and Evan O'Leary all coming back. That's a great core to have in the midfielders. How do you expect them to be the leaders on the pitch come game time?
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of returners with some good experience, and I think that can benefit us in just in terms of how we want to play and them having an understanding of that. I think obviously they know what to expect from high-level NCAA games, high-level SAT games. So I think having that familiarity can only be a good thing. We've also got a number of new players that can also contribute in those areas as well. So I think the competition within the group is really strong, and I think that can be a benefit to the overall team. So
I know we're going group by group here, but you have a great couple of defenders coming back as well, Louise Berg and Kate Casey. How do you expect them to anchor your defense and hold opponents away from scoring?
Yeah, again, lots of competition in the back line. You know, you haven't mentioned Anna Schuler and Viv Becker and other people like that as well, in addition to some freshmen that will contribute. So lots of competition. Again, they know what to expect. Having been here a year now, they know a little bit more about me and what I want to see from them, and we can develop our playing style even further. So experience is good, but again, we've got to put it into action and make sure we perform each and every day.
Speaking about experience, your first game of the year is a team that has a load of postseason experience. They were in the NCAA tournament for back-to-back seasons, first ever meeting between LR and Lee to really start off the season against a quality opponent like the Flames. How beneficial do you think that's going to be for your team moving forward into non-conference and even into conference play?
Yeah, and it's intentional. You know, we're playing some really tough non-conference games, and for me that's part of preparation for hopefully postseason play, but also we learn more about ourselves by being tested. And you know, we obviously want to win all games we compete in, but there's also an element of being challenged and put us under pressure where we can ultimately get better from those games as well. So Lee are good, having watched video and different things from previous years, we know they're going to be strong, but we want to test ourselves against the best to ultimately prepare us for what's to come. So
I put a light on the preseason All-SAC members when went down through your student athletes, but have there been any student athletes that, you mentioned a few, but some that you saw a big jump in over the summer and excited to see play here in the fall?
I think the spring season was really beneficial for us in terms of individual development, whether it be individual sessions. Our assistant coach Zandy was on the field a lot with individuals, and you saw the improvement from a technical perspective and also game understanding of what we want from them. So, you know, I think Emmy Talley has made a leap in terms of her development. You know, Kara has made some strides in terms of technical development as well. You know, but even players you've mentioned, they've improved over the spring season. So, and then you add a group of freshmen, which is a large class, but talented. Yeah, there's lots of good competition to look for. It's hard to pick a team, to be honest.
Huge expectations coming into this season. You saw the results of what this team did back in 2021 and then what you were able to do your first year here in 2022. You have that good core of freshmen, but you also have a great experience coming back. What has been the message to your team this year, knowing that you have a group that can really make some national impact?
I think the results will take care of themselves if the process of getting better each day is in place, and that's our focus. Is every practice can we win the day and be better, you know, 1% each day, and by the end of the season that will translate into whatever happens. There's also elements of things out of our control, you know, so we can only control what we can control, and you know, our job is to get better each and every day, and if we do that, I think we'll be in the mix for where we want to compete.
Well, you saw the community come out here on 828 Day. Hickory is ready for your program to hit the pitch once again. What are some words, you know, to the 828 here as you get ready to go for the year?
Yeah, I think just come out and see us play. And obviously the excitement from the Women's World Cup recently, I think hopefully that can translate into people coming out to our games and supporting the team, and hopefully we can go and entertain some people and get a good crowd here in Hickory.
That sounds great. Lenoir-Rhyne begins their season Thursday, August 31st, right here in Hickory, North Carolina, when they take on the Leaf Flames. Coach Dean, thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk Live.
Appreciate it.
Hello and welcome back to Bears Talk Live, presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are now joined alongside the head volleyball coach here at Lenoir-Rhyne and Nicole Barringer. Coach, thank you so much for having us on this week. What is your excitement like coming into the season? Brand new start for your team. What's the excitement level with your crew?
Yeah, it's been a great preseason. We were kind of taken not by surprise, but when you have so many new people, you have 6 freshmen and 2 transfers. When you're teaching a defense, teaching an offense, like you think it's going to take a little bit, and it was very quick. Our returners were incredible as far as teaching the new offense and teaching our defense, and we just were able to kind of jump into some things like pretty quickly that we didn't realize we'd be able to jump into when you're teaching that new offense and defense. Our freshmen are awesome, transfers are great, but the biggest thing was our returners really took them under their wing and helped teach. It's just Mark and I, so being able to use our returners to teach those things was awesome. And so it created a lot of excitement, a lot of competitive practices, really high energy practices, which has been great, and leads into a really fun weekend at home.
One of those key returners that are coming back this year is Emily Allen. Incredible, she was only a freshman last year and had the second most kills on the team with 263. How did that sophomore quickly become, the new kid on the block to becoming more of the leader in your team?
Yeah, I think it happened. She had to jump into some pretty big shoes to fill really quickly as a freshman, right? As we needed an outside, and she came in from day one. You could see the first swing she took in a practice day one last year. All the seniors and returners were kind of big eyes, like, oh, okay, like she's here to play. And she had a great freshman season, but I think the biggest transition, like in the spring and our off season or in our spring season, was her taking that leadership role and turning it into, I can't be frustrated about, if I'm not passing well, I'm not hitting well, like I'm here for my team, becoming a leader for her teammates, which I think is the really cool transition into this year. She's still hitting well, still passing well, but it's how can I now help my team keep their energy up and make sure we don't get down. That's become kind of one of her roles now that we've had a lot of seniors graduate, and she's our only returning that played in every match, right? She's our only returning player that played every match. So it's been cool to see her take on that leadership role.
An incredibly busy first weekend for your team. 4 games over the course of 2 days, all here in Hickory, North Carolina. When teams are really trying to get the gears going again, there might be a matchup or 2 that are similar to each other, but how as a coach do you prepare your team for 4 games over the span of around 24 hours?
Yeah, I think we've had 2 scrimmages so far. We played a lot of sets in one day. One of them was in a gym with no air, so they really got worked, which was they didn't love, but it helps work them for preparation for our games that are going to be here. And had another scrimmage this past Saturday, and then just going hard in practice, right? Giving them the time they need to rest before those games, but also going hard during practice and really tough drills, really mentally tough and draining drills to kind of mimic what that will look like, right? You start really tough at the beginning of the season, and it's only going to get easier from there, from a 1 game a day perspective, right? If you start with 2 games a day, total of 4 games on a weekend, when we hit conference, it's 2 matches a week. And so they're going to be mentally and more physically prepared for those conference matches.
You touched base on it being a younger team. When you had your first year here, you had a more experienced bunch, but now you have kind of a team that everyone about coming into college now. Does that really open a new door for you as a coach here in only your 2nd season?
Yeah, I've loved it. We've kind of gotten to kind of reevaluate who we are as a program. So if you look at the last 2 classes that have graduated, it was 5 and 21 and 7 and 22 that were all either, most of them 5th years, right? They stayed for their COVID year, or I think we had one Clet did not take her 5th year. And so, you're looking at losing actually 8 total last year. And we've got all these we've got some seniors, but they're even kind of young seniors from an experience standpoint. So it's been unique, and we've kind of been able to develop our own, what is our purpose as a team. We developed something called a culture code within our team. You talk about people overuse the phrase like, oh, team culture, team culture. Well, what is that, right? Like, what is that in words? And so in the spring, our returners developed that, and it's something we refer to, throughout practice or throughout the season. And it's not, what is on that paper. It's how you treat each other, how you act towards each other, right? What do you let go by, right? Do you let someone slip by and be late? Like, what do you allow? What are the things you allow and you don't allow? And that's going to set your culture. And so that's what's been unique about this young group is we've been able to say, okay, like we're new. Let's start this how we want it and how we want to act and how we want to like treat and care for each other and what we want to put as our values and our attitudes. And they've really bought into that, and not just our returners, but our freshmen and our transfers as well. And it's been awesome. We've got an incredible group just from players and talent, sure, but like the people that we have are just, they're incredible. So
some of those transfers as well come in and bring valuable experience.
Yeah.
Taylor Osborne from UNC Pembroke, and then Kathy Peter from Francis Marion. How the transfers coming in as well and try to become a part of this team culture that you talked about.
Yeah, they were actually two that have bought in really quickly. So we had our opening team meeting and we kind of got to, I asked the returners, I was like, returners, y'all lead this section. Talk about our culture code. What are our attitudes? What are our values? And our transfers were some of the first to speak up and say, hey, I like this. Like, and just kind of brought like added value and added, things to that and really bought into it, which is incredible. Like you're looking at transfers who were at a previous school for 3 years or have been at multiple schools, and to be able to come in and quickly say, okay, I'm going to buy into this, right? Like that's experience and that's maturity, and that's what those two bring a lot of experience. They've played in some really tough matches and super mature. So I think they're going to bring a lot to our team and to our roster and our lineup.
So a youthful team, maybe some names that people don't know about yet, but have there been any student athletes that have really stepped up during the summer?
Yeah, so, you're looking at, we've got Parkley Hennings, who is now one of our captains. She has kind of played under some older kids and has just developed a lot as a player, but as a leader for her teammates, both on and off the court. We've got Asia McNeil, who no one's ever really seen play because she came into LR with an injury, so she sat last year and did not touch a ball for us until this past spring. Her spring was kind of her just getting back in the groove of playing and hitting and passing, and then she just kind of led a group over the summer that would come in the gym, every so often or a couple times a week, and somehow something clicked, and she came into preseason just a different player, different mindset, a leader, and just playing to have fun, but also like push her teammates around her and understand that she can't play for herself. She can't worry about being frustrated if something's not going well for her. We talk about sacrificing the me for the we, and she's like, that's what I do. I'm here for my teammates, and that's caused or allowed her to be a better player. And so I think Asia McNeil will do a lot of good things for us this year and has had a great spring and a great summer. And then Lindsay Warren, who's a sophomore this year, she came in as a freshman. She was a 2-time state champion at her high school, but comes in and it's a faster paced game, right? So she's adjusting to that fast paced game. Her first year had a great spring, had a great summer, could tell she had done a lot of work over the summer, and then is just playing so calm, cool, and collected in that libero spot right now, and has done a really good job. So you're looking at some people who we haven't seen, who were here on the team last year, that just got their reps, right? Cheyenne Clonch is another one of those. She played under Emma and Braylon last year and for the past 2 years, and has just gotten her reps, and now is a fantastic middle for us. So we've got quite a few of those that have been on our team but just haven't had a ton of experience because people were playing above them that are going to shine this year. So we're excited.
You saw the community support on 828 Day here in Hickory. Hickory community is ready for LR volleyball to begin again, and it starts on Friday, 1 p.m. against Valdosta State. What do you want to say about to the community as LR volleyball gets back in action?
Yeah, we just love to have you at games. I think that people don't understand how fun and exciting and energetic volleyball can be until you come see it. And so, we think, our marketing department and our graphic and creative media, they do a great job of all the stuff that happen in game, but the game itself is one of the most high energy sports I think there is. And so I encourage you to come out and check us out both Friday and Saturday. We've got 4 matches going on, so hope to see you there.
That's right, 1 and 7 p.m. on Friday, and then 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturday. A fun-filled weekend in Shreveport Arena. Coach Barringer, thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk Live, presented by J. Brown Realtor.